Okay, good afternoon, gents. I hope all is well. Okay, as you can see, I had another 2 days on an evaluations, but we had a new offer come out last night, which was the passing 1 day for any existing or new evaluations. So I passed mine already, so I got an email this morning, so they've turned to PA, so I'm trading my 2 PA accounts today. So we have got that offer if anyone is interested, and there's no limit now, just a day. So it doesn't mean you need to do it in a day, but you've got that option. If you happen to pass it in 3 or 4 days, you don't have to wait for the usual 7 days now. So that offer is available just for 3 days only. So it's there if you want to. Let me just move that down a little bit. There we go. So it's there if you so desire. Excellent. So what's going on today? So we had that. Well, it was basically with a couple of legs down. We had a good strong push up, which we thought we may do based on what we were looking at on the daily. We had those sort of 2 legs back, so it's hard to know what's going to go on now, whether we're going to bounce push up again or whether we're going to have a leg and a leg. It's a bit hard to see at the moment what's going to happen, but we're just keeping an eye on that. But we've had that push up yesterday and it basically closed on its high, more or less anyway. So there we go. So let's see how we get on today. But as I say, we have that offer. So I had 2 days left on my evaluations, but as the offer came into play at close of business yesterday, anything that had already passed got converted. Well, you'd have got the email today to move on to PA, so here we go. So I've got 2 new PAs here today. So I've had a little bit of, as you know, some work on the psychological side over the Christmas period and a good break, so I feel nice and refreshed. So I'm trying to just forget the fact that it's a PA and just trade it as I see it, and just keep away from the charts after hours. As soon as I finish the live stream, I shut down, walk away. So let's see how we got on today. So the market is due to open in just over a minute. So let's see what's happening. So it looks like we've had a channel down here with a break, 2 pushes down to a new low. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? And everything's looking exactly the same on the NQ. We've pushed down and we've had a small short-term channel, so it looks like we may get a second entry to push up here. So there's a possibility that there's something bigger there and it may come down, or it could sort of continue, or it could start to move up. It's a bit hard to say at the moment. So we'll have a look. Okay, so market is due open in 30 seconds. So best of luck to everyone. I hope we get some setups today. So let's just see how we get on. So for now, we're just looking at these 2 legs down. Okay, market's open. No, it's not actually. Still 20 seconds off. Someone's in early. Okay, so 2 legs down. So let's see what happens here. We got a leg out. Right, there's a possibility of a second entry long on the NQ if it triggers. Okay, market's open. So, not sure whether we're going to get a push up now, or maybe there is something wider there. I don't think there is at the moment. The backside fits pretty nicely. So I think it's likely we may get a push up now. So let's just have a look. Just going to get rid of that. It annoys me a bit. Delete. Chart enhancer, isn't it? Yeah. No, all align decorator. That's it, I think. Okay, so it looks like we'll get the start of an uptrend on the NQ. Let's just have a look here. Okay, excuse me just for a second. Okay. Okay, we seem to be starting into an uptrend on the NQ. Let's have a look. Yeah, we do. So let's have a look. It's unusual for them to be going in different directions. Rodian, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Just looking at the NQ at the moment, we've had this channel down break new low, and we do seem to be sort of pushing up. Whether that will continue or there's a couple of legs before we come down, who knows? But I'm keeping an eye on that. I look at both NQ and YM, and when they go in different directions, ES gets choppy. Yeah, I'll tell you something, since I've been watching the NQ along with the ES, it doesn't half help you make better decisions on the ES. I thought this was going to go down. Maybe this is just sort of picking up some momentum. Let's see if we can get a higher low here. Obviously, there is a possibility of a second entry short. If we can end up bearish and trap some shorts there, so we push down 1-2 legs up. Because we've had a break of this channel. I don't think there's a bigger channel there. I can't see anything, so let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Let's get rid of that a minute. It does look like it's a bit sideways. See it's looking quite bullish, the NQ. Although it's getting a bit congested. Let's have a look. Not quite following how you start your channel down. Well, that's where I've gone from here. Touch, touch. The reason I've gone from there is because it fits nicely here. And it's very similar on the NQ. We've got 2 touches at the bottom of the break. So I think whether it's like that, but I think, yeah, it's got a break on the NQ, a clearer break and a break here. So we got, I know it misses there, but I don't really think that matters too much. So let's see if we can get a failure here. That NQ helps. Yeah, absolutely it does, yeah. I find I get more value from the NQ than looking at Bookmap, in all honesty. Because if Bookmap starts to go into an uptrend and this isn't as clear, yeah, sometimes if you're trading something that's not as clear but it's more clear on the NQ, it does help you make better decisions, I've got to say. Sometimes the NQ is a lot clearer. Other times it's not. It's certainly looking bullish, although we are in a bit of a... there's a little bit of a range there, but it does look like we've just dropped out the bottom of a small range on the NQ. So Just keep an eye on it. But yeah.
Order submitted.
No, the only thing is we've dropped out the bottom there on the NQ. It is a failure there. It's not pushing up as strong as I'd like. Let's have a look. No, I'm not sure about that. Let's have a look. Still not very clear. It's still struggling a bit there, so I'm going to have to sit tight here. No, I don't like that.
Order
That's
canceled.
starting to look bearish on the NQ.
Order submitted.
Big bar, that is.
Order cancelled.
So if you did take that one, you've survived. There is a second entry long coming on the NQ, so that might... Yeah, it's a little bit... it's a bit choppy here. Yeah, so if you did take that one, you just got shafted. So, rightly so. I mean, regardless of whatever, we're going up, we're going down. What we're doing most of all is going sideways. So, touch, 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 touch. Multiple touches there. Probably go with a higher there. Yeah, we got a touch there. 2, 3. There's 4 touches along there. So, I'm going to wait to get out, really, before we start thinking about trading. It's just having... Sometimes you get that focused on a setup and you're missing the... I do it myself sometimes. The picture is at the moment is congested. So it means whatever setup you take, there's a little bit more of a risk to it. And sometimes you're looking like that when you think, oh, there's a failure. It looks like we're going up. When if you just sort of zoom out a bit, it's definitely sideways. We go sideways there, we push up, we go sideways there. So it's congested, whatever happens. So it just means there's... sometimes it doesn't matter where you go, long, short, there's traps. So just bring in the NQ quickly. We've had this sort of couple of legs up. It did look for a minute like we were going to get a bullish picture, but then this formed the lower high, and you don't want to be going long when that forms. Not that it doesn't mean it's not going to go up, but it's that to me, leg down, pull back right to the EMA. That seems like there's a chance it could go lower, so that's got me away from thinking about going long just at the moment. So yeah, good point there, Jay. So if you don't look at the NQ, it can help you because it gives you very, very similar picture to this. If I bring it in, it's almost sort of, let's make it a bit smaller, identical, but sometimes it's a lot clearer and it helps you make better decisions. So I just bring it in there a minute. We've sort of got the same thing, really, with apart from this. We've got that leg down. You can see it there. We've got the break there, same there, and then down to a new low. It's more sideways here. It's more upwards there. But there is a bit of sideways here, which could account for this. And there's some sideways up here, which would account from the top area. And then we've got sideways here. So it's a similar picture. It might be a bit clearer here, but it definitely helps you make better decisions. So I like it. I like the fact that it helps me. It'll help to keep me out of bad trades, and it'll help to secure and give me the confidence to sort of get in and not miss good trades. But it's clearly congested at the moment, so it's hard to say what it's going to do. But yeah, if anybody doesn't know, they've got this one day on again. I sort of didn't agree with it initially, but I was looking upon it as, trying to pass it in a day when it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means minimum. So, like for me, I think I passed mine in about 4 days. So it's nice to think now I would have had to do another couple of 2 days. So I like it in a way. I did think initially that it might sort of encourage people just to sort of throw money at it, but maybe not. A few people seem to like it, so I don't know whether they'll eventually abolish any type of a time frame to pass it or not. Hey, Breck, how you doing, buddy? But I think if you have got some passed, then it's useful. At least it enables me to jump straight into PAs this morning. So we shall see. I've also, just to remind people, if anybody isn't aware, I've got the positions tab from Rhythmic on my screen now. I was on an evaluation, was it last week? I think it was last week. And I took a trade with a trade copier. And they both came up at what I did, I dropped it in and it hit it quickly and cancelled it, but it bounced off, and what it did, it had triggered one of it but not the other. So when I shut it down, that's the account I usually have a look just to check there's nothing there, and there wasn't. But what I didn't realise is it was triggered in Rhythmic, which I've never come across from a personal point. And I didn't realise because I had these PA evaluation, the PA amounts very, very, very small in a small font tucked right down the bottom of the screen. I didn't notice the fact that one of them was still moving. So I did a little bit of searching around, and there is a video out there with Daryl Martin from Apex, and he does say keep this in your eye line just in case. It enables you to shut it down in Rhythmic. So if you shut it down in Rhythmic, it'll cancel it in NinjaTrader, but not vice versa. If you shut it down in NinjaTrader, it won't necessarily, because I was right-clicking and clicking cancel and flatten, and it didn't do nothing. So, but when you get into a trade, you'll see it written here, and you'll have a red cross. Most of you probably know, but just in case there's any, there'll be a red cross. So when the trade finishes, whether you win it or lose it, that red cross should go. If it doesn't, click the red cross, and it'll give you a prompt. Do you want to do this? And obviously just click yes. So I didn't realise that could happen, that it could trigger in Rhythmic and maybe not here. But I think I usually do limit orders, but I did a market order at the time. And obviously, as we know, sometimes when you drop a market order, if price hits it, it kicks it out. Well, I didn't realise it could trigger one but kick out another. So I should be aware of it, but it's just never happened to me over the year I've been trading with Apex. So let's have a look. So we've got a sort of a break here and a leg down and another attempt to go lower. So okay. So we had a big move up yesterday. So looking on the daily, we came up and we sort of took off from here and bounced, went up again and came down. We've bounced a few times around here, so it could come down. We could have a leg, or it may just come down and tap this line again. Or it could just have a little bit of a pullback before it keeps pushing up. So it could do anything today. I'm not really at the moment we're coming down, but it may just be a pullback from this before we push higher. But we could have a leg and a leg, so it's a bit unclear exactly what we're doing today. Because we had a good move yesterday. I don't know what it was from top to bottom. So it's 88 point, nearly a 90 point move, which is not a bad day actually. There was some trades around. Certainly much easier to trade something like that than sideways. So we got a leg down, maybe a couple of legs up. We may have another leg down. So it's hard to say at the moment. God only knows. So let's just let's put that leg there. That's probably the biggest pullback we've had, really. So that's certainly a possibility. A leg, 2 legs back, and a leg. I mean, if it does continue down, I suppose you could drag it down to there and for the first leg, a couple of pushes up. I don't know. Sometimes it's a lot clearer, but that would certainly be the first target if it does continue down. Having said that, we haven't broken the lows of the day on the NQ, so it's getting bringing in probably easier. It's getting a bit. We've had a leg down a break, so we could sort of have a couple of legs down. That's possible. A leg there and a leg there. Something like, yeah, we may just have a couple of legs retesting this and push up. So hence this is following. But on the NQ there is now looks like a second entry short building. Let me have a look at that. Actually, I think, let me just drag that in again. I think there may be a channel forming there. That's unless this continues up. It does look like a break and a new low. Couple of legs up, couple of legs down, retest these areas and then rock it up. Who knows? But at the moment, it looks like there may be a channel working down. So I'm just going to keep that in my eye line down here a minute. Just have a quick look at it. Yeah. Not sure about that yet. Yeah, I got mixed feelings here. We've pushed out possibly a second entry short retest in this. It looks slightly bearish on the NQ, but it is a bit sideways as well. Possible second entry short. It's just more of an inside bar at the moment, but 2 touches there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry about that. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. It's a parcel. Okay, so let's have a look. Are we having a couple of legs? Are we pushing back in? Leg and a leg. Okay. This is interesting. Touch, touch. We came down. So this is either going to push out or maybe a break and continue down. But it's hard to know what to do here at the moment. Interesting. If this pushes up and pushes up like this, then forget the channel. In fact, I'm not a massive fan of that channel, actually. It just looks like a couple of legs down. We're retesting it a few times. This looks like it might be pushing up. We'll have to see. There's definitely two legs back in a bearish bar. So it could continue down. If it pushes up and takes out that short, that bearish bar, then we may sort of have that working up. But it's choppy at the moment, so it's unclear. It looks like that it may be working up here, but really we've just come out of this range, so it doesn't really tell us anything at the moment. We may just be coming back into this range. So I don't know what to do here. Okay. Trouble is on the NQ it's still sideways. I mean, I kind of like that bar. I like the way we sort of tested it. We've come in, we've tested it once, twice, but it's sideways on the NQ, which is telling me it could go up or down. So I'm just sitting tight, you know. I like the way there is a second entry long there, which hasn't triggered.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
There's a second entry long there. I kind of like that. Touch, 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 touch. I like that.
Order filled.
Okay, let's just check everything's finished. Yeah. Nothing's alive. Okay, I like that one. Cheers, bud. Looks like I mean, we've had this push down, we've had a couple of legs up, we've come down, we've retested, we've pushed up, we're retesting, we've pushed in, we're retesting these. So I think it's worth it at least up to there. But if you look at this side, because we've had a break out the bottom, I'd expect something like that. And the NQ's looking, we're having multiple touches here. Big bullish bar there, another one there. So for me, we've had this leg down, break, new low, couple of legs up, 2 legs down, multiple retests. I expect that to push up at least to these highs. That was starting to look bullish, so that helped me decision. That helped me staying a bit longer. I may have come out a bit earlier, but cheers. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Kev. Nice start on the PAs. Everything worked like it should. I don't know if you know. I'm not. I don't mean to teach you to suck eggs or nothing, but I don't know whether you guys have started having these positions, but you can see that they both cancelled there anyway. The amount isn't moving, but I didn't used to have this, as you know, but I got stitched. One account closed, the other one triggered. I didn't realise that. I thought if it triggers in Rhythmic, in Ninja Trader, and you cancel it, it cancels it automatically, but it doesn't necessarily if something goes wrong. So I don't exactly know what happened, but something did anyway. So that's what I haven't done. Reloaded my historic. Is it loading? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just in case it doesn't look any different, but yeah, we got a touch here, a couple of touches here. So we pushed up sideways. It's the start. This sounds like the start, or looks like the start of a channel, doesn't it? Up sideways, and we had 1, too well. There's a couple of touches there, and you clearly see it there. There was a second entry long, and that was the one I went. Not an amazing bar, but it came down here and pushed up, so it's still pretty bullish. Although the top shows a bit red, but so I think that was worth taking. I was out comfortably. I was out here comfortably before the highs, before these, but even these, but there's some support. You can see I was out comfortably before that. So I think it was worth the go. It was a second entry long. Sort of a small micro with a break, if you like. Yeah. You get the idea. So 2 points. Second entry long, 2 points. Plus 2 points. Excellent. But yeah, the NQ helped me make a better decision there. Possibly a hidden second entry long. Trouble is, I don't really want to go long just there. See, what I will say is on the NQ, it does look like there may be a bit of a range. Yeah. Sort of 2 legs up, 2 legs down, 1, 2 legs up. So it's stalling around here. So I don't really want to go long here. I'd rather it in above all this. So we've got the leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. It just may be bouncing ready for another leg down. So it's not very clear. It's not very clear there. So it does look like a hidden second entry long, but and a breakout of this channel. But it's more that I didn't mind because we tested the bottom, we came up and we tested it one. You know, you can see it clearly respecting that. So that was worth okay, but. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 touches along there. So yeah, so interesting. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean about this possible push down. We got a leg down. This is more of a penguin trade. We got a leg down. One attempt to go higher. 2 legs down. Second attempt to go off, failure. So I would say this is likely to come down to the bottom. Now, there's always that possibility that it doesn't, but I think, based on what I can see there, leg up. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd say it's more likely to come down to the bottom here because, and I'll tell you why. There's going to be some stops down here. It's hard to say really, but it does look like a penguin style trade. Leg down, one attempt to go high, second attempt to go high, failure. So we'll keep an eye on that. So, yeah, not a huge risk, actually. 2.25 points. That's not bad at all, that. So I haven't got far off 1-to-1 there. So the ATRs, that's kind of where I like it. Ideally, if you can, you know, with a tick above, tick below, $250 around that area of risk, I kind of like. It's when you get to the 3 and 4 points that puts me off. But, you know, 225 risk, 200 profit. So that's all right, that, I think. That's kind of a nice number. It's close to 1-to-1 anyway. On the ES, have you just let me look. On the ES, have you tested to draw a very wide? I tell you why I haven't, and I'll tell you why. Because we've come higher than this, and I think that would look weird. That, I would say, would make sense. But this, it just didn't visually look right to me. That sort of, I don't know. Well, maybe it does. I just think there's too much happened here. We'll soon find out if this pushes, but I don't think so. That I think I did try that earlier just for a split second, but I left it. Sometimes I try and avoid the bigger stuff too early because it gets me thinking in the wrong direction sometimes. Just picked up 2 points on the second entry long. One of those, did you? Good on you, mate. Good on you, mate. Yeah, I'm not sure about the bigger one. Done for the day. Good on you, mate. Well done. Nice to do that. I'll tell you something. If you can do one trade a day, $200, you'll make yourself a stack of money. A stack of money. I mean, if you can, I mean, that's $200 in one trade. If you can make yourself an average of $500 a week, which trading to your contract is nothing really, that's $2,000 a month. You have 20 accounts, that's $40,000 a month. That's nearly $500,000 a year. That's just by taking 2.5 trades in a week, the equivalent of 2.5 trades, which is nothing really. You know, if you've got the skills to do it, the only thing stopping you, and that stopped me up until now, is the psychological side. We're taking a loss. But once you nail that, you know, see, as we're dealing with our psychological stuff day in, day out, what we're forgetting that's happening is you're building trading skills as well. So when something changes and you just give up taking stupid risks, I'll tell you something. I don't know if you guys had the email last night, but I'll tell you what, you should watch this. Daryl Martin yesterday talking about the offer at the moment, the 1 day to pass offer. And he started talking about when he started trading, and he said he took what was his words? An absolute ton of failed of it. He blew a ton of evaluations. Someone else has told me that as well, that said they used to trade with him at Lilu, and he said he blew loads of PA accounts. So a guy that makes, I mean, he's a trader by heart himself, as well as obviously a business, but you've seen him, you know, there was a video where you watched him taking a few trades, and I think he'd earned $14,000 just in the 1 day. I won't mention the 4 PA. Oh, mate, I tell you what, I don't know what it is about 4 PAs, but twice I've lost 4 PAs. I'll tell you a guy to watch. I'll mention it. I mentioned it before because I like this guy. He's helped me get into a better frame of mind. It doesn't cost anything. It's just videos. What's his name? I better not be able to find it now. I'll find it now. I'll find it. Live Traders. This guy here. I'll bring him over. This guy. I've got a lot of value from this guy. How to deal with mental frustration. He's got quite a few. He's got nearly 400,000 subscribers. He's got over 1,000 videos. But he talks a lot about when he started trading. Watch some of his videos. I got a lot of value from those. You know, how to deal with it, and you know, when you start seeing, you know, when you manage to walk away a few times on losses, and then you see your accounts continue to build, and you start to realise, something's working here, and all of a sudden it hits you like a brick wall. All of a sudden you realise you're following the rules and your account's growing. So I got a lot of value from that guy. And another thing as well, take a break. The most days I've had off in 3 years in a row is 3 days. Not counting, obviously, any bank holidays, but I've taken 3 actual days off trading in 3 years. At the most. I've done that maybe a couple of times, but that's the most I've been away from the charts, really. Even last Christmas, I looked at his channel a while back on your recommendation. It's pretty... Yeah, it is. And anywhere where I feel like I can get value, and I think what it is, it's about sort of almost psyching yourself up and thinking, yeah, that, I'm gonna get some of this. This is what I'm gonna do now. And anything that helps to mold your mind, into making the right decisions. But you guys see me day by day. You can clearly see I can trade. You guys have never seen me blow a PA account live. You know why? Because I've only blown them when I've been revenge trading after hours. So if I can stop doing that, it makes sense that I'm going to continue to make money. It's just accepting a loss. And I think you need to... Your mind's got to go through it again and again and again. And a guy... I had a phone call from a guy about a year or so, a guy called Joe. And he said, you've got to get that sick to death of losing and failing. Something just changes in your brain and you decide to just accept it. And you accept it a couple of times and you think, okay, my account's starting to grow now. And then you get that, aha moment. Because I know I can trade, I still make mistakes, I still lose trades, but overall, I would say my win rate would be quite likely at least 80%, which is more than enough to make money. It's just whenever I get a couple of losses in a day, which I don't often do, that's where I seem to sort of be a bit vulnerable. But I'm determined this time just to get away, just to walk away. And if I can do that, then I should be consistently profitable at this. But it does take time. It does take time. It takes time to sort of mould that mind. But I do love the way that Darren Mines said he blew a ton. And that's someone who makes a lot of money at trading. He traded with Lilu and they started to cap the amount of money he was earning. He was earning a lot of money. But it's nice when you hear these experienced traders saying they struggled and they blew this and that, because sometimes when you've blown a ton of accounts yourself, you tend to think, perhaps I'm one of the ones that's never going to make it. And then when you realise nearly every other successful trader out there is blown a stack of money. Put it this way, when I started trading, as you know, I traded with a guy called Andrew Lockwood, who he worked in the London Stock Exchange during the 80s, worked for many city banks. And around about 2000, when everything sort of more went computerised, he was in Singapore at the time and he set up their computer system. And he came back to the UK and decided to trade his own money because he'd made a lot of money in trading. And he told me he lost $150,000 in the first year. Now, this was a seasoned trader, but he'd never, done it on a screen with his own money. So even he had to go through the psychological side of risking your own money. Because if you're taught to trade by experts and you're not trading anyone's money, there's a certain amount of, apprehension because you don't want to lose your job. But when you've got your own money on the line or a lot of money on the line, it's very different. I'm just going to get rid of that bigger one. I don't think it is there. Channel break. It looks like a couple of legs down to a new lower leg up, maybe a retesting. But yeah, it is nice to hear these, these seasoned traders saying, "Oh, they went through it, they blew accounts." It does make you feel like, makes you feel better. But as I've said before, you can manipulate the body, and it's so much more obvious. You can see the change as you lose weight or you build muscle, you get fitter. It's it's visual, but with changing that mindset, it's a lot harder. It's people with sort of depression, anxiety. If you've got a broken leg, from a car accident, it's obvious. You can tell someone's ill, but, when someone's got depression or anxiety, you can't really tell most of the time. So, changing that mindset in the brain doesn't really come that easy. It takes time. It's hard to see, that change. There is a bit of support and resistance there, so I'd be interested to see what happens there. Yeah, you can see it there. See it there, see it there, you see it there. That might be why it's finding a bit of support there. A bit of resistance, rather. Okay, there is a second entry long, maybe forming, but it's just congested. Loads of support there, so that's just way away from the EMA, so it may work, but it just looks like it's got risk written all over it for me. See, there may be maybe someone taking shorts on that lower high, thinking that there's a bigger range here, but it's just too risky. It's choppy, it's sideways, it's far from the EMA. It could come down to the EMA, may push up, break above it, who knows. Okay, so there's quite likely going to be some shorts there, picking a top, and it may come down. I have a feeling. Yeah. There's a possible failure there. So, okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Just move that over. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break while this is doing this. I'm just getting thirsty. Let it sort itself out. So I'll be 3 to 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea, and I'll bring it up. Okay. So, I didn't miss nothing, did I? Okay, so leg up there. It's hard to know whether we're going up or down from here. See if we can get a high low. It's almost identical, this on the ES. Second entry long, yeah, down here. Yeah, I just looked at that. See if you get a higher low here. That'd be nice.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Maybe, yeah. There is a higher low, though. Let me just get out for a couple of point and a half. We've got a leg down, and it is a higher low above the EMA.
Target filled.
Okay, got a couple of ticks off that. Yeah, we do. I shouldn't read the comments, actually. Flat EMA range, be careful. We got a sort of a leg back, a leg and a leg. I got a couple of ticks off anyway. Everything's closed down. No, not you, mate. It was what's that one? Electricas. See, normally I would have waited for... Yeah, we got a channel. Yeah, I still think I should have got out of that. I shouldn't read comments when I'm trading, really, when I'm actually in a trade. But yeah, it is a bit flat. It took that second to drop. Yeah, it is a bit flat. But I'd expect it to push up. There's a failure there. But it's going sideways anyway, so I'd have got out of that now anyway. We have sort of got a couple of legs down. Leg. And a higher low. There's a failure there. Trouble is, it's even more congested now. There's a failure there, but we're close to the highs. Yeah, it would have worked anyway. Well, we don't know yet, do we? What would I have gone for there? 2 points, which is there. We made a new high on the NQ from that little push. Probably where did I come? 6 ticks, so it would have bounced off my order. Good trade. Yeah, I'd have preferred it. See, the reason I took it is we had 2 legs down and it was above the EMA, but it was a doji. Having said that, it's certainly in the top half. Another tick, that would have looked a lot more bullish. But it is a little bit sideways, so you just never know. It might add to that little bit of... But I got out for a couple of ticks. It's $50. $50 in one account, $50 in the other account. It's $100. So, you know, minus $16 fee. So it you know, it is what it is. Sometimes we take these decisions, don't we? And then... but it looks like a couple of legs. Let me see. It is a higher low. I'd have preferred it a little bit more bullish, but I think it would have been good for 2 points. But I'd have taken 2 points there, comfortably out before the highs. But you don't know whether we're just going to come back, retest the tops, and then drop again. You know, but the risk was relatively small, I think. Yeah, 2.25 point risk. So not a massive risk. See, the thing is, you've gone about sort of the EMA going flat. When we come down from here and we come back up and go above it, it's going to go a bit flat. But really, all we've had is a couple of legs down and a couple of pushes up. So I wouldn't have said that was flat as in we're going sideways. Are you with me? If we look at the NQ, that doesn't look as flat or sideways in any way. It's a bit flat there, but just where we've come down from here, we've had a push down and another push down, which tends to get the EMA to come down, up and down a little bit. But if it does it in quick succession, we get a little bit of a flat spot. But that doesn't, to me, look like, you know, any type of congestion, you know what I mean, to be sort of careful of. It's a little bit more congested here. I think when that bar finished like that, I think they say 3 or more sideways, but it is a bit, so I go have it for $50 per account, so sometimes you're better off getting out if there's any sort of doubt, but it is a bit congested. The EMA doesn't worry me too much because, you know, we've got a flat bit here, but then we rock it up. We've got a flat bit here, but then we push up. You know what I mean? But if there was a lot of this and a flat EMA, that would be our concern. But I suppose 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a bit flat there, but then we pushed up and held twice above, well, 3 times if you look at that, above this, the EMA. So... would that have given me... I've probably gone for 2 points there, maybe 6 ticks. So that would be 6 ticks, that would be 2 points. But now it's going a bit more sideways. So I think sometimes just get out of it. The thing is, you get out of it, you're guaranteed not to lose anything. And, you know, that's one thing you can guarantee. You can't guarantee the trade's going to, you know... The trade's not going to... But you just don't know. Now it's going sideways. I think it's likely it's going to push up, but... you know, when it starts to go sideways like that, as scalpers, we want to get in and out. And the longer you sat in a trade, the more you want to get out of it. It looks like it's going to work. But it's just not, it's not nice when it goes sideways. I'm not sure whether that would have been the better trade. What did I get? Half a point, I think. Was it half a point? 2 ticks, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I took it there. It's clearly going sideways, but it does look like it's working up. It's still holding. The EMA is still holding price. So the trouble is, stay. You can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think the time it's probably going to work, but I think the time there is to probably come out around now. It didn't look that bad really. We'd had a couple of legs down and a higher low. I thought that would have gone up a bit quicker, but then it decided to go a bit sideways, so who knows. I don't mind getting out of trades. Yeah, it can go both ways, yeah. I wasn't too concerned there. I'd have preferred that a bit bullish. See, it depends. If the EMA goes flat for a long time, then yeah, but this, it just looked like a couple of legs down and a higher low. And in a lot of cases, that'll work. And it looks like it's going to work, but it's going to go sideways on the way. And if I didn't get out there, I'd have got out in one of these for sure. Because it's not nice when it goes sideways. Because when it is sideways, it's only like it's less than a 4-point range, isn't it? Yeah, it's only 3.5 points. It's not going to go far to make you miserable, isn't it? May even take that out now. Yeah, it's going to. Sometimes they hold, though. It depends. I find sometimes the better positions hold. Some of the other ones get taken out, but regardless of what it did before, it's clearly going sideways there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars sideways. I'd have got out, I think, around about here. So the stop's still intact there, but I'll be surprised if it doesn't take that out. But yeah, I mean, if it does go sideways, sometimes you're best off just to get out of it. You're a new face anyway. Where you from? How do you say that name? Electricus. Where you from? I don't think I've sent you before. I think you're a new face. Cool, it's cold in the UK today. It's about 2 degrees centigrade where I am. Thank you. Set it up for a failed second entry. Yeah. Fact, is there a bigger channel on the NQ? I don't think there is here, is there? Maybe not. It's a bit too high up for that. Yeah. No, that's no good. That. NQ, is there a bigger channel? There might be, you know. Actually, I like that. That's fitting really nice. Touching a bunch of times here, touch here, fitting nice on the top side. I actually like that. I think that's a nice looking channel. We've clearly come down at a break new low. We've out a couple more legs, retested it a bunch of times, pushed up, tested this, come back, picked out the line here, and then pushed strongly through it. 2000 tick. Oh, you count it different. Is it making much of a difference? I changed it to 1500 tick because if I was going to trade it, it would make the trades a little bit. I don't think it makes no difference to me. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's actually a little bit better, I think. Let's take that down to there. Touch multiple times there. Yeah. Touch. Which one did I take? Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, that's looking like it could continue up. One leg up. Maybe a leg and another leg. And then up. Same here. A leg and another leg and then up. 1, 2. You may call that a triple test. I'm not a fan of picking bottoms or tops, but I certainly wouldn't take that. I'd want that bar there. If it ended up like that here, 1, 2, 3, then I may call that a triple test and it may go long. But the NQ is looking like there's a bigger channel. Now there may be here. If we go from, I don't know, about here, that's a possibility. Push up, leg sideways. That's a possibility. Leg up and a leg. It's certainly looking like it on the NQ. So when I took that one, I usually give mine an extra tick. If I'd have left it there, that would have hit it. That extra tick, I'd have still been in that. But in all fairness, when it goes sideways like that, sometimes it's uncertainty. So where there's uncertainty, I think sometimes just get out of it. Failed second entry short triggered. Yeah. It does look like it's gearing up for another push-up, doesn't it? Oh no. OBS reconnection successful. Not seen that before. If you're asking me, mate, I'm still not sure really. What I found is if I put it down to the 1500 tick chart and traded one contract, it worked out similar than trading two contracts on this, but it's a bit more complicated because there's a hell of a lot more ticks in a point. So I think someone told me they go for about 35 ticks. And when I messed around on a sim, 35 ticks on a 1500 tick chart, going for one contract gave you similar sort of profits and losses as trading two contracts on here. But you got to play around with it because the bars can be quite a bit bigger. In all fairness, I like it as a chart just to look at to give me an idea what the general markets are doing. Because what I've found is sometimes the NQ will start to look bullish, and then this will. So this, for me, the impression I get tends to follow the NQ, and they give similar pictures. Sometimes one picture will be clearer, and I think that helps you make better decisions. We are finding a little bit of support on the or a little bit of resistance on the NQ. And hence we are here as well. So we could have a leg and a leg, and then maybe some more upwards or something. But this, not even a fan of that at the moment. I think it's probably. I think we got to say that there may be a bit of a range here. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Maybe not. No, it will only touch once at the bottom, so maybe not. A bit of a range there. Drop out, push above. So this could be a couple of legs and then some more upwards. In fact, There is, looks like maybe a trap, a short trap on the ES, on the NQ. This looks like a channel to me, and there's like a couple of pushes up, so this may come down for another leg. If it pushes above there and gets above there, I can see that, because there's probably going to be some stops above those few bars. Well, certainly that one. So it's interesting but we've got multiple touches here, and it kind of fits kind of nice at the top. So we could get a leg. It's hard to know at the moment. So leg and a leg, and then maybe we get a higher low. We'll see. Leg. I still don't think there's a larger channel there. It's going to come down too much. I don't like channels that are that shallow. Interesting leg. So there is a second entry long there. 1, 2, 3. You could call that a triple test. I'm just sitting out of this at the moment, because if there is another leg, it could come a bit lower, but I think that may work. But I'm just, it doesn't just jump out at me and wave. So I'm just going to sit tight there. When do you plan to add more accounts? Okay, what I'm going to do is stick to these 2 accounts, and my target is about $7,000. Now, as you know, I've had multiple payments. I've had last year I had $10,000 in payments from accounts. I could have had another $4,000 on top, but I decided to leave something in there. But I was still struggling with the psychological side. But I had a good break at Christmas, so I feel fresher. So the plan is to get 2 accounts paying. So my aim is to forget about the $2,600, because it's such a big barrier that if you're aiming for that, it can cause problems. So I'm aiming for around about $7,000. And then I'll decide whether I take 2,000 then from each, or I say, okay, whatever I earn from now on over the next month, I'll withdraw. Or as soon as I earn $2,000 above 7,000, then I'll withdraw that, whether it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month. And then as soon as I take a payment, I'll introduce maybe 2 more and try and build up like that. But I do trade full time, yeah. But I work weekends, so I got an income weekends, and I get some money from Apex. Give me commissions. Any of you guys use my code, Apex will give me a commission, so I get a bit there. So it's enough of a wage working weekends and that, and the bits I've had out of trading accounts. But yeah, things feel better this year. The break did me the world of good. Yeah, the plan is to get to around about 7,000, then I'll decide whether I want to continue up. I'm glad you figured out what you're doing, what you love. Thanks, mate. There's nothing nicer than working for 3 hours a day. I see my neighbours going out. There's a couple of builders going out at around about 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning, defrosting their vans, and I'm still in bed. There's nothing nicer. I do love it. You take it for granted sometimes, because I've been more or less off throughout the week for the last 12 months. So it is nicer. It's nice in the summer as well. You know, I like being in the house with my daughter in the morning. I do her breakfast in bed and take her to school. So it's nicer. But yeah, it's this is what I like doing. Although it's been a real tough journey. The emotional side, it drains you. It absolute drains you. It can change your personality a little bit. So I've certainly had my moments. But yeah, appreciate that, mate. Yeah, it is nice. It's nice to not have to go out and join the rat race with everybody else at 7 o'clock in the morning. Summer's nice as well. You can go out, go to the gym in the morning, do a bit of sunbathing, mid-morning. Because I don't get to the chart usually for around about just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. So I've got the whole morning, get my sister to school, go to the gym. I love it. Highly recommend it. In fact, if you're still struggling, use that as your motivation. So we look like we've got 2 legs down here. We're getting close. Well, we've actually bounced right there. Was my biggest freedom. Absolutely. Mac talks about that. Do what you want when you want. You'd never ever have to worry about getting sacked, made redundant, laid off, whatever you want to call it, running out of work. If you once you get used to the psychological side, you can deal with this. By that time, the skills are there anyway, but you've got a job for life there. And another thing that's really attractive is you can move, you can go out, live wherever you want in the world or the country. There's nothing holding you back. We got friends who have like a static caravan, and they go up to the sort of North Welsh coast, all the time, weekends and stuff, and they love it up there, and they want to retire up there, but they can't because of their businesses here. So you've got the being a trader is very attractive. The money's good. You can earn what you want. It's a matter of scaling up. You've got the hours, working less hours. If you want to do something else for the day, there's none of this. I need to book holidays with work. I can't have holiday off in the summer because there's too many. There's none of that. All sounds good. You still need to consistently mail. Well, absolutely, of course you do. Yeah, of course you do. But I'm a believer. If you keep trying, keep working, keep improving, and keep focused, you'll get what you want. I think. You say 95% don't, but having traded and been through the misery for 3 years now, I would say the majority of traders don't trade because they can't. They give up because they can't. They can't put up with it. They can't deal with it. So that's what it is for me. Yeah, as a second entry long on the NQ. If you've been doing this for a few years, you'll have been through the misery of losing account after account. A lot of people would have given up. And that's why there's such a, well, that's my understanding of it. That's why there's such a big failure rate, because people give up. It costs you a lot of money. You lose a lot of money. You get a lot of misery, and a lot of people have a taste of it for maybe 6 months and think, sod that. I don't want that hassle. But I've always been quite motivated and driven for the things I want. If there's something I have to do but it doesn't interest me, I find it hard to take it in. But yeah, I've always sort of got what I wanted to a degree. If there's something I really wanted, I've more or less sort of got there. It does look to me like now, 2 legs back, we're going to push up again. The NQ's broken above now, so that's on its way up. So I think that's likely to do the same. But yeah, it does take time. I've been doing this 3 years now. I started beginning of December 3 years ago. So 3 years I've been doing this. And I've blown lots of accounts. But I did like hearing Daryl Martin saying he'd blown a massive amount of accounts himself. We all know he makes a lot of money now. Who's he? Daryl Martin? He owns Apex Trader Funding. But before he started it, he traded with Lilu. But they capped his earnings because he earned such a lot of money. But he went through the same thing. But yeah, I heard him say, I've heard a couple of people say, someone else said they traded on Lilu with him, 7 or 8 years ago. And they said when he was learning, he blew a massive amount of accounts. So, everybody does it. I don't know when an absolute fortune. I'm quite happy on a decent wage. I just want to go on holiday 3 times a year. Not have to worry about paying bills and go out for a meal and when I want. That's all I want. I'm not interested in making huge amounts of money. Don't get me wrong. If it was on the plate, I'd take it absolutely. But I mean, if you had, let's talk realistic. If you had 10 accounts, you can have 20 accounts if you want it. Let's say you had 10 accounts, and you say, let's say for instance, you traded daily and you earn, let's say even $1,000 a month. That's $200. So I've earned $250 today. Yeah. Now let's say I do that once a week, and that's it. That's $1,000 a month on one account. 10 accounts, $10,000. Now it's not difficult to earn $250. I've done it in a day, and this isn't a particularly good day. So even if you aimed at $250 per account per week, it's a small amount. That's $1,000. That's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. And that's just from having $250 in a week. It's not a lot, and it's doable. You've obviously got the psychological side to get past, but when you can get past that, it just shows you what a small amount of money over multiple accounts can earn you. And $10,000, you can have a nice life on that $10,000 a month. That's not pocket change. Okay, there's quite a lot of support here, a resistance here. I'm looking at the NQ. There is sort of no, forget that. It's still a bit sideways. I'd say this push up 2 legs back, it's likely going to continue up. It looks like it on the NQ. It looks like we're in a channel, and obviously we've got this area here where it's likely to test up around here. We've had 2 legs back there and a nice push up. So we're having multiple tests of this, and it fits nice here. That'll be almost my current year's salary. But yeah, I mean, I think that the ticket is when someone tell me when you get successful and you start making regular money, then things become a lot easier then, because you realise, because there's that many failures while you're learning to trade, you'll fail so many times, and sometimes it's hard to believe, am I ever going to be able to do it? And I think sometimes that's where you blow accounts, you take silly risks because you don't believe you can do it yourself. And then when you get consistent and you're making money every single month, you'll have that belief then that all you've got to do is turn up and play the game, and at the end of the day, finish and walk away. You'll have mostly green days, hopefully, and a few red days. But, the days don't matter. It's over a month or 2 months or 3 months that your equity curve continues to climb. That's all it's about. But, trading multiple accounts is the key, isn't it? One account, you don't need a lot. As I say, if what I've done today, let's call it 1.5 trades, if that. If I can do that once a week, that's it, and I'm finished for the rest of the week now. That's $1,000. You times that by 10 accounts, that's a decent amount of money. So it's not difficult. It takes time, and there's a lot of misery, I'd say. And there is a lot of misery. I've been with my wife now for a long time, and she's, let's have a look, 30 years we've been together, and she's seen me brought to tears 3 times in that 30 years. Once not long after my daughter was born, when my mum passed away a year ago, a little bit, and then when I blew my last 4 accounts. That brought me to tears. I felt flipping awful. And it does make you miserable, but you just have to be. Every single person, every experienced, consistent trader has told me the same thing. You can't just alter your emotions like that. Anything you do that involves a lot of emotions, you have to do it enough times for your body to get used to it. So, and I've said this before in the past, if you're in a marriage, say, and you've been married for years and your wife turns up, I talk about my sister-in-law. She was married for quite a few years. They'd been together for about 20 years. One day he turned up and said he met someone else and he was leaving. And I remember seeing her fall. She was quite a strong woman. I remember seeing her fall apart, absolutely fall apart. Initial sort of shock, tears, shaking, all that sort of thing. Massive amount of emotions just been sent her way. And then she went through this tears and tears for weeks and weeks, then a bit of frustration, then sort of numbness, and then anger. And you go through all these emotions, but now, maybe 7 or 8 years later, completely forgotten all about it, like it's never happened. So where did those emotions go? They didn't go anywhere. The thing she was told that the guy was leaving, she was going to be on her own, and that was with her every day. But because she was aware of it and it was with her every day, at some point your mind accepts it and you move on. You know, it's the same with anything. You know, as you guys know, I did some skydiving when I was younger. First time I threw myself out of a plane, I almost physically pissed myself. Scared the hell out of me, sat in the door at 13,000 feet. But once you've done so many, anything that has a powerful emotions, once you've done so many, it starts to not affect you the same way. Can't do. So at some point, you'll get pissed off with losing and frustrated, and it'll just won't have that same effect. You know, you go on a scary roller coaster for the first ever time. You know, you go on it for 100 times in a row. It's going to get easier and easier. So, you know, everything I've ever written, I remember seeing one of Watts' lectures on YouTube. Mark Douglas's, and he said all of a sudden, when you've been trading enough times, you'll have learnt your skills and the emotions start to get less and less. It'll just dawn on you that all of a sudden trading will seem so much easier. And it'll become easy because you'll be able to do it. It just takes time. How long, I don't know. It depends. I'm a bit stubborn sometimes, so I think it's probably taken me longer than most. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and I've put a lot of time into it. Probably more hours than most. You could even call it a bit of an obsession. And I feel like, you know, I've said this before, but I just know now, whatever happens, I just have to accept it and move on and not revenge trade. If as soon as I press that button and take a trade in revenge or frustration without having a strategy or a plan, I'm doomed. And I know that. You do it once, you'll do it again. You may get away with it once or twice, but you're a ticking bomb, so you just can never do it. It's gone a bit silent. How long I've been trading now? 45 minutes. In fact, I'm going to knock it on the head, actually. I'm up there's a nice start for the day. If I can do that every day, I'll be over the moon. $1,250 a week. That's a tidy amount, that is. That's more than you need, really. So it's going a bit sideways. It's probably going to push up, but I'm just going to I'm going to have an early day. I've done nearly 10 minutes under 2 hours. So yeah, I'm happy with this. It's a good start today. So I don't know whether I started 1985 and again in 2000, attempt to start again in 2006. Futures last year. Yeah, I suppose it depends on the person, doesn't it? If I get a bee in my bonnet, there's something I want to do, I tend to get obsessed and focused on it, and I tend to not give up. But yeah, I mean, you might have started it as a bit of a part-time type thing, which might have taken. I literally threw my whole life into it. I literally did. I first thing I did when I knew I wanted to do it, I changed my job around. so I could I started working Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and Monday, so I could trade full time. And in all fairness, those sort of 3 days a week I was trading for 7 hours a day at least. And I was looking at charts at night, and you know, I got obsessed with it. So, you know, it's like anything. If you put a lot of time in, it comes a bit quicker. But I found actually, I think it actually works 8 hours a day since the. But you know, I don't know whether sort of you tried different strategies. I thought a strategy. Someone said to me, "You pick a strategy and stick with it." Well, I thought a strategy would take you about 20 minutes to figure out, but the strategy is the sort of easy bit. But applying it to the correct context of the market is the real skill. Understanding where the market's going, you know, because I was taking second entry longs in a downtrend when I first started, because I thought it's a second entry long. But it's understanding what's happening in the market. And I think the more you sit here day by day, you'll just understand how it tends to work. Because really, all we're doing is studying human behaviour. You know, if it comes up here 3 times and bounces, human beings are going to think, well, the chances it's going to come down. So if more sell than buy, market comes down. So that's what it is, really. So, but absolutely, to go for the obsession and failure, yeah. To be fair, 5% is still quite a big amount. Now, this is one of the very few things that has brought me to tears. Now, I'll tell you something. I don't know a lot of people that I know that would put up with this for this long. They would pack it in. You know, you get 3 people. Let's say you get 100 people, and you say, okay, it's going to cost you £20,000. Straight away, half of them are going to run away. They do it for 6 months. They get a bit of success. They put a bit more money, and they blow more money. They lose money. Their partners are saying, "Why are you throwing all the money away?" Another 25 are going to walk away, and you may only get 10 people out of that lot who may stay for a year or 2. But at some point, a lot of people do give up. I've considered it myself. It's not because it's that difficult. It's because it takes so much time and there's a lot of failure is why people see this as near damn impossible and I've lost a lot of money. Not everyone's got the sort of money, to chuck into it. And I think the majority of people give up. That's why it's got quite a high failure rate. This is probably going to push up now from the low. That's why it's got a high failure rate, not because it's an impossible job to do. It just takes time and it just seems impossible. But, you know, it's a numbers game. The more you do it, you can't help but get better at it. But you have to work through that. You have to work through those emotions, and they ain't easy. I can't tell you how many times I've been just miserable. Miserable. I even started drinking a bit too much at one point. I even thought the emotions were that much. A while ago, I even started having a double whiskey before I started trading, just to help take the edge off it. And then I stopped in the end because I thought this is stupid. But it just goes to show how much emotions are involved and how it takes time. Sell, short. Yeah, maybe. I've tried to listen to people before. It doesn't always work. There is 2 legs there, but I don't know what it's doing. It may come down, may go up. I don't know. You still, yeah. Most of you guys know I like a whiskey, but I did get to the stage where I was probably having, I don't know, maybe a bottle every sort of week and a half, which it's not a huge amount, but you certainly don't want to be doing that regular enough because it could increase. But I remember sitting here, probably told you before, I remember we had the 90% off evaluations. This was probably maybe 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. We had 90% off evaluations. And I remember finishing early for the day. I went downstairs, had a few whiskies and came back up here. And within 2 hours, I'd blown 10 individual accounts evaluations, and I drunk about half the bottle of whiskey. I'd just taken another one, blew it, take another one, blew it. I was just going for 10 contracts, trying to win it big. So you do some stupid stuff. I wouldn't suggest doing that. It just doesn't work. The only way this works is you just succumb to the market. You decide, I can't fight you anymore. I can't try and trick you. I can't try and get lucky with you. I just have to follow you. And if you drop something, I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, it does take time to think like that. But, you know, I've shown that diagram on Sam's page and I've seen it before. You go through all these different emotions from euphoria to down in the dumps, make a bit, lose a bit. And then at some point, it's around that area you start to question whether I should carry on. And then you sort of decide to keep going. And that's when you decide, okay, I'm not going to fight the market anymore. And then you start to see some success. And then all of a sudden you get that belief, that aha moment. You know, and even people like Darren Martin, like I mentioned earlier, he'd blown a massive amount. I seen him trade once. He was showing you him trading once, and he'd made $14,000 for the day. That was a year and a bit ago. And I know I've heard people say he used to make a lot of money out of Lelu when they started capping him. But even knowing someone who makes a lot of money and very successful in trading has been through exactly the same scenario. They've just got stopping power, that's all. So I would say now this looks to me like we may get 2 legs down, retest this top and push up again. There may be a little channel there. There may be something bigger. Could be something like that. But for now I will probably say something like that. So I would expect bit of a pullback here. If you look on the NQ, we're quite far away from the EMA, so I would probably expect that to come down a bit. Well, certainly before I would think about having a trade and maybe a couple of legs down to here somewhere, maybe push down, touch this and push up. But I'm happy with what I've got today. In all fairness, I think it's good policy that if you get one winning trade, you give up for the day. You make a ton of money doing that, really. $200 a day. Even if you get it right, even if you do it 3 days, it's still more than you need to earn, really. There's plenty of money to be earned. So that's it for today. I'm going to knock it on the edge. So that one I got out a bit early, and rightly so. It started going sideways, and that would have went wrong anyway. But I think it went up for about a point. It was there. Probably should have taken it, really. I thought if that ended up bullish, I thought we're going to have a leg and a leg, take out these tops, but it didn't quite work. So you'd have got a point and a quarter to squeeze. But it looked like a leg and a higher low, but it started going sideways then. So fortunately, before it broke below there, which was here, there was plenty of opportunity to get out of it. So I should have. The bar wasn't brilliant. I should have waited, but there was a failure there, but it didn't trigger anyway. But you don't really want to be going long into that lot. So you're reading it correct. Just took longer to move. Yeah, and unfortunately it did come down. I mean, that would have taken me out here, really. But yeah, it looked like a leg and a leg, but I think after this it was just a bigger leg and a leg, really, wasn't it? But I just put that down to I've only been doing it 3 years, lack of experience, bit of naivety. But I think the more you do these and you realise they don't really work or they go sideways, I think you eventually just get used to filtering the crap out and waiting on the, waiting on the nicer trades. I got to say, compared to how many trades I used to take, what I take now is peanuts. But we're talking about young Moo the other day, and he's taking a lot of trades, 5-6 trades, and he'll sort of filter out eventually and take the better ones. But really, in a whole day, all you need is one trade, and you'll make a ton of money. Those are my exit liquidity, yeah. So, good start. I'm happy with that. Market's moving quite well today. It's got its moments where it's a bit choppy, but it's moving quite well. So, that is it for me. So, I appreciate your comments. Nice chatting with you as always. It's nice to have a bunch of colleagues to work with and chat with rather than being stuck in a room by yourself. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup. Failing that, I will see you tomorrow. So have a great evening, stay safe, and we will do the same again tomorrow. Bye for now.